My name is Rubina Kaussar Shah. I'm from Pakistan, but I live here in Brussels. And my question is actually concerned related to training. So I guess maybe Chris or Maria might be able to answer it. COVID accelerated the teleworking. Right after COVID and until now, the workplaces are quickly adopting this new way of teleworking. But there is less of training, as you were also already saying, because everybody is not capable enough to use all softwares, artificial intelligence and ChatGPT and everything. So for that, what are the organizations doing? What is the legalization? Because we are forced to work quickly and with deadlines. So, but it is very important that the workers who are using the digital technology, they should be given some kind of certification maybe, or some kind of courses or training or whatever. That's it. Because otherwise it leads to burnout, stress, and they can't work properly. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't know if one of you want to answer. It was about training. What type of training?
So first of all, for me, training is really important. We have sometimes discussions with our members. They say, I've trained those people and I spend money on them and then they leave me. Then I say, what would happen if you don't train them and they stay? So, but in general, telework I think is a bad example. But telework is basically about doing the same job just from another location. So why should you suddenly need different training? Some training because you have to set up your own workstation at home, etc., etc. But let's not exaggerate that. I think it's much more important to focus on how do we prepare, how do we train our workers to deal with change, to deal with things that are still unknown now. Because if you look at reports about jobs of the future, you read them, it's like astrology in the newspaper. It's so generic it could apply to anything. It's very hard to describe or to predict what kind of jobs we will have in the future. It's much easier to say which jobs will probably likely be affected by digital technology. So it's better to train your workers in general to learn to deal with change and learn to deal with elements that are still unknown. As Star Trek, there would be no Star Trek if we would simply stay away from the unknown. It's better to explore the unknown, and there is tools, and I think the pilots and others, people like me, trade unions, people working in institutions, we should spend more time in companies, because we do now pretend as if this discussion is new. A lot of companies have already developed a lot of stuff, including training on how to deal with change in digital technology. But we are having this debate now because sometimes we are maybe a little bit too much in our silos.
Yes.
But training absolutely important, and I will never say to any of our employer members that training should not matter and that people who are working remote, just leave them, they're okay. No.
Yes.
In my organization, we are a bit too much training now. There is no day or there is not a new training popping up on my screen. I have to pass the test 5 minutes. So we have the opposite discussion now. Too much of this training. Keep it down a bit. So.
Thank you. Is there anyone? So.